During my time playing video games, I've played a lot of different genres. This includes first-person shooters like Fortnite and Rainbow Six Siege, roguelites, horrors, platforming, sports, you name it. Almost every genre of video games I've touched at least once before. This leads me to talk about Metroidvanias. This style of video game is one that I've almost never played before, mostly because it's not that popular, but I decided to give it a try, and that's when I laid my hands on this game. Crypt Custodian. I didn't think too much about it, but after playing it for like 20 minutes, I was hooked and I couldn't stop. So welcome to how I completed Crypt Custodian and got all 48 achievements. We play as a cat named Pluto. We get woken up by this other cat and he explains to us that we have just died and we got brought to this place known as the palace located in the afterlife. He tells us we need to meet the guardian called Kendra, and making our way there, we find our first item of the game. This is a broom. We use it to destroy the statues in the way, and after solving some puzzles, we get inside the palace and find Kendra. Here, she decides if we get to spend our afterlife inside or outside the palace. This depends on if we were a good or bad person during our life. So after looking at our life, we can see that we were just a normal house cat with 2 loving parents until one night we ran onto the street and got killed. A sad ending means we get a warm welcome to spend inside the palace, but that's when Kendra finds another page in her book, and oh shit, she just saw that we smashed all of her statues. So obviously this is not the best first impression, and she banishes us to spend our whole afterlife as a janitor cleaning up garbage outside of the palace. So after beating up this cat, we get kicked out of the palace and we get our first achievement of the game, the first of 48. In this area, we have to clean garbage and monsters. And while the gameplay goes on, for those of you who don't know, what is a Metroidvania? The best way to explain it is to think of like an open world game with a non-linear story. So the order that I beat the game could be different to how other people beat it. There's also a lot of backtracking in this genre. Like look how big the map is in this game. Anyways, I find the key, and with this I open this locked door and enter inside. This is called the Sinner's Inn, and we meet this bird called Marla. This is basically the store in the game where you could just buy upgrades for your character. Talking about upgrades, after exploring for a little bit, I find my first upgrade point and get the second achievement of the game. With these upgrade points, we can spend them to equip upgrades that we find or purchase. This is something I will show later on in the video. We also find a jukebox CD which acts as a collectible in the game, and we'll need to collect all 20 in order to unlock an achievement. Moving forward, we get to this place called Pearl's Shrine. Here we meet a frog called Pebble, and they tell us that they've been stuck here cleaning garbage as well. We say bye to our new friend and we continue exploring. That's when we find this big skull. These skulls act as like a sort of challenge to our run. For example, this one makes enemies explode upon death, but once we kill 15 enemies, it'll reward us with an upgrade point. So since I'm not a bitch, I take the curse and I go kill 15 enemies. While doing this, I find this vase of some sort, and after breaking it, it unleashes a spirit and I get the third achievement of the game. These are another collectible alongside the CDs that we gotta find. Continuing our progress, throughout the game there's gonna be so many puzzles and unlockables and shit that there's no way I'll be able to show all of them, and that's what makes this game so good. Anyways, I finally killed 15 enemies to break the curse and I get the 4th achievement of the game. So we do some more puzzles and we get some upgrades that we can equip. We also get the 5th achievement for equipping one of the upgrades, and while we're here I also get the 6th achievement for killing 100 enemies. After that we meet Pebble again, and she's standing next to the statue. Apparently she built it herself and it represents her family while she was still alive. It's pretty cool, not gonna lie, and I just felt like adding it to the video. We continue on and find this thing. This is our first boss battle of the game, a spider with 4 legs inside a pot. This guy is pretty easy to beat, and after we kill him we get the 7th achievement of the game. After defeating the boss, somehow Pebble was stuck inside, and here she talks with us for a little bit. She explains to us why the palace is so special. Inside the palace, there's something called the crystal mirror. With this mirror, any ghost can use it to visit Earth. No one will see you, but you'll be able to see your friends and family again. After that, Pebble officially becomes our friend, and we also get the ability to air dash. And after unlocking this chest, I get the 8th achievement for collecting 10 upgrade points. I activate another curse, and while walking, Kendra spawns in and basically tells us to stop making friends. She says she put us here to clean and we're not cleaning enough. So yeah, it was kind of weird how she's being bossy and shit, but whatever, we continue forward. After walking for a bit, we meet this bunny called Mira. She's hosting a dinner party for her friends and she needs us to go get her tablecloth in the basement. So asking a random stranger is the best thing you can do. Yeah, good job, Mira. In her basement, there's a bunch of these slime monsters and shit, and we also find these platforms that we can't stand on. This is something that I will come back to later. While we're here, I do some puzzles, ride this makeshift boat, and find our second boss of the game, the Gunk Goliath. We dispose of him pretty easily, and I get the 9th achievement of the game. I also find Mira's tablecloth while we're here. I go back to her and have a dinner party with her friends, further bonding our friendship with Mira. At the dinner, there's this like little mouse dude who's in charge of a VIP room in Marla's shop. So since we ate dinner with him, he gives us an invite to his room. So I enter it and yo, why are people fucking in here? What? Nah, I'm just playing. It's just like a dance room and you could also trade garbage for upgrade points in here. Moving forward, I see a bunch of signs with warnings all written by a person named Grizz. I ignore the warnings and I find him digging a hole. This is Grizz, and to summarize what he says, he's trying to dig a hole into the palace so that he can steal the crystal mirror. He wants to do it alone, but we suggest that we can help him. Since 2 people aren't enough and it'll be hard to sneak in the palace, what if we brought 10 people? It'll be like an ambush of some sort. So we befriend Grizz, and now we need 7 more friends in order to start this ambush. I also get the 11th achievement for forming this plan. Moving along, I get another achievement for collecting 5 out of the 20 spirits, and just after, I run into Pebble again, and she wants us to create our own statues, so with a small gesture from our broom, we create statues of our 2 beloved humans. I also find this other big piece of rock, and I was about to create another statue until this happened. This is the 3rd boss we encounter, the Stone Golem, and after we beat him, we unlock the Broom Orang. Get it? Anyways, this gives us the ability to throw our broom, and with this we can get to places that we couldn't before, and even get some unlockables that we couldn't reach. In this new area, just like every other area in the game, we find secrets, unlock items, kill bosses, and unlock abilities. That's basically the whole concept of this game. So after we kill the boss, we get the ability to Spirit Split, and we get an achievement with this. With this new ability, we can now walk on these platforms that I mentioned before. So yeah, we use this new ability and we find new items and shit. We also get the 13th achievement for killing 500 enemies. Continuing the game, I come across this area called the Cellar, and here I find this guy called Crouton. We talk with him for a little bit and he wants us to find a bug for his collection. Right after this, I unlock my 25th upgrade point and get the 16th achievement of the game. We continue our search for these bugs and we manage to find one. It's pretty small in size, but that doesn't matter. We then find another bug and finally find all 3 of the bugs. During this collection, I also collect an achievement from using my special attack 100 times. Now that we found the bugs Crouton was looking for, we're cool with him now, and we can leave this area. That's when out of nowhere, so yeah, this is one of the other bugs he was looking for, and this actually leads to a very good chase scene. It's like this bug is always on my ass and he doesn't want to let me go. While running away from this bug, I actually solve a puzzle mid-chase scene and I collect this photo and get the 18th achievement. This photo is something I haven't really mentioned before. We've seen it with our character Pluto, but basically every character has their own 3 photos that we could collect in the world. So since I found all 3 of Crouton's photos, that's why I got this achievement. By the way, every series of photos shows how the animal died. So for Crouton, we can see that he lived a peaceful life chasing butterflies and chilling with his rat friends. Moving along, we can manage to trap the big bug, and after a small conversation with him, we befriend him and get the 19th achievement. Kendra also spawns in again, and she finds it suspicious how we're making a lot of friends instead of cleaning up. She believes we're planning something mischievous and wants us to stop. So we tell her to go fuck herself. Anyways, we reach the Demon's Point, and this is kind of like an abandoned amusement park. And we also meet this raccoon called Rusty. So yeah, we do the same shit we've been doing for the whole game until I find the 10th spirit and get the 20th achievement. I also find all 3 of Rusty's photos, and her story is pretty cool. She used to live in garbages and dumps until one day she got moved, and there she was, surrounded by endless amounts of garbage. After this, we fight the boss, and he was pretty interesting, not gonna lie. I like this concept, but long story short, we kill him, we get an achievement, and then we befriend Rusty. This gives us 5 friends in total. Now, we go back to Grizz and we find him in this tower section. What he wants to do is go put some graffiti on some of Kenja's statues on the highest floor of this world. So this is low-key a funny throwback to my previous video on Spray Paint Simulator, and I almost got a little bit of PTSD. Once at the top, he decides to give us the paint, so I go back to my glory days and create a masterpiece. Everything is fine until out of nowhere, and here we go, another boss fight. These guys are actually not monsters, but they're rather ghosts just like us. So at the end of the fight, instead of us killing them, they stop and they ask what our problem is. And we just tell them that we were here to paint, and then they leave us alone. So wow, that's a crazy story that we got right here. Yeah. Right after that, we unlock the ability to broom dash, and also get an achievement for this. Immediately after, I get another achievement for collecting all of Grizz's photos. His story starts with him being a stranded cat wandering the streets all alone, eventually becoming the leader of all the strays. But as he got older, he became a target, leading to his death. Moving forward, I do the same shit, solve puzzles, and fight the boss. And after killing the boss, we see this guy frozen in the ice, so I freeze him and get the 25th achievement. This guy's name is Scully, by the way, and we befriend him right after this. Now, for the sake of me repeating the same thing over and over, we find this other ghost called Roy, save him from the cage, befriend him, and get the 26th achievement. We also unlock the ability to dig into the ground. I also meet this other ghost called Whaler, and straight after this I get 3 achievements. One for collecting 50 upgrade points, the second for killing 1,000 enemies, and the third for finding all of Whaler's photos. Then I fight the boss of this section, which actually turns out to be Whaler, so basically we're fighting our own friend. I don't know, this shit's kind of getting weird, but I get the 30th achievement for doing so. And then I befriend Whaler. We then meet these other little guys, and we're supposed to take care of them for a little bit until... So yeah, another boss. Yo, it's like it never ends. Anyways, we fuck this guy up and get the 31st achievement for defeating the Moon Man. I also come across this theater, and the owner called Dagobert gives me a key and tells me to return after I get 3 cinema reels. Shortly after this, I find all 3 of their photos, getting the 32nd achievement. Then I had no clue what to do once I found these photos, so since the map is so big and there's so much shit to do, I decided to just explore and try to get as much achievements as I can as possible. I managed to break every curse and get an achievement for doing so. I found all 3 cinema reels, found all of Pebble's photos and all of Dagobert's photos, and at this point of the game, I found almost every single upgrade, CD and spirit in the game. With the 3 reels, I go back to Dagobert to watch the movie, and to be honest, I was actually expecting a short like 2 to 3 minute animation or like a cutscene or something. But instead, you guessed it, we get another boss. And killing him gets the 36th achievement of the game. We also befriend him, and finally we got all 10 friends. So we have enough people to start that ambush with Grizz, but before this starts, I want to get all achievements that I was able to. So I go for all the missing collectibles, and I get 4 achievements here. One for finding all of Roy's photos, one for finding all the 20 spirits, another for finding all of Scully's photos, and finally the last for finding all of Mira's photos. After all that, I was ready to start the ambush with everyone, and to our surprise, this place is quite empty. Like, there's no one here at all. We continue our search and look at this. There's garbage. In a special place like the palace, why isn't it clean here? And it's not just like a little bit, this shit is everywhere. Anyways, we find the crystal mirror and go to steal it when all of a sudden... Yep, you guessed it. Kenja's been the evil one all along. With how she's always checking up on us and wanting us to clean all the time, this was pretty obvious. This was a pretty decent final boss. Her second phase was a good challenge, and I don't know who designed her face, but that shit's kinda creepy. After we beat her, she starts collapsing the palace and we gotta run for our lives. We keep running until we see Grizz and we jump into the mirror. Here we get a small cutscene where we go back to our owners and we cuddle up with them. The credits play and I get an achievement for defeating Kenja. I talk with Pebble and she tells us that she saw Kenja disappear into her hideout. The chamber she's hiding in is locked by another puzzle, and here we must equip our upgrades in a certain order to unlock the door. Once I do this, I get an achievement for entering the vault, and I also collect the CD disc. This CD was the last collectible I needed to get in the game, and with that I get an achievement for collecting every collectible in the game. Continuing forward, I managed to find all 3 of Kenja's photos and I get another achievement for doing so. Looking at her pictures, she lived a high-end life and died peacefully. The next thing I do is find where she's hiding and console her. We talk for a bit and at the end we befriend her as well. And with the last conversation, this ends the main story of the game. I've unlocked every upgrade, found all achievements and photos, and now all we're missing is 4 achievements. And they're all correlated to the new game mode Boss Rush. Boss Rush is something I unlocked right after killing the first boss. Basically, all I have to do is kill the bosses quickly without taking any damage and I'll get a score at the end of it. So there's a total of 12 bosses in the game and 3 difficulties, and in order to get the undefeated achievement, I'll need to S+ rank every boss on all 3 difficulties. This means I cannot take any damage and I have to kill them quickly. If I get hit once, I'll need to restart, and if I take too long, I'll also need to restart. Knowing this, I was in for a long and hard challenge. I started with the first boss, and after 14 tries I get 2 achievements, one for defeating a boss without taking any damage and another for getting my first S+ rank. Keep in mind, I also need to do this 35 more times. The next boss was the Stone Golem. This guy was okay, I don't really have much to say about him, it just took me 19 deaths. Next up was the Gunk Goliath. This guy only took me 4 deaths. And the next one is where shit got hard. These twins, or whatever their name is, took me 45 deaths in total. And I also get the second to last achievement for getting 10 S+ ranks. Moving along, these tower ghosts took me 18 deaths. This fucker took me 33 tries and it should have been more. The next boss was him. He was pretty annoying, there's not really much to say about him. He only took me 23 tries. This railed rider was easy, took me 13. This boss called Grief was only hard because of the small space that you're given to fight him. Other than that, it only took me 14 tries. We get to the imposter and this guy was tough, that's really it. He has 2 phases, so it adds to the challenge, and he also has these fuck ass homing bullets and shit, and it took me 41 tries to S rank him. Next up is the Ice Witch. This one took me 13 tries again, and finally we get to Kendra. The amount of times I would get to her second phase and completely sell by taking damage is crazy. She wasn't even that hard, she was just more annoying and tedious, but she managed to get me to restart 31 times. This gives us a grand total of 268 retries. That's kind of a lot. Anyways, since I get every S+ rank, I unlock the last achievement of the game. Before the video ends, I would just like to say this game was way more enjoyable to play than to cover. Like, the amount of secrets and puzzles I had to leave out of the video is over like 75% of the game. All of the puzzles were well thought out and fun to solve. And to add on, this game was only made by one person. I couldn't believe it, but yeah, this was like a solo dev game, so props to the creator for his hard work. If I were to rank this game with the others, I would only put it in B tier, just because there's better Metroidvanias out of there, but this game is still pretty good. And with that, I want to thank you guys for just staying till the end, and enjoy the rest of your day.